Welcome to the Monday, September 27th, 2021 Maplewood City Council Manager Workshop. Ms. Coleman, would you please do the roll call for us?
Certainly. Councilmember Cave?
Here.
Councilmember Juniman?
Here.
Councilmember Villavicencio?
Here.
Councilmember Knutson?
Here.
Mayor Abrams?
Here. Thank you. We have one new business item tonight, the commissioner interviews. We first need to approve our agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Moved by Knutson, seconded by Villavicencio, the motion to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then let's vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. We have no unfinished business, and the new business we have tonight is commissioner interviews. We have 7 candidates that we are going to be interviewing tonight for 4 commission openings. We have openings on our Community Design Review Board and the Parks and Rec Commission. So, council members, I don't believe that our 2 newest council members have done this before, have you? Did we? Okay, I didn't remember. Okay, then let's go through and determine who's going to be asking which questions. Let's do community design review first. Who would like question 1?
I'll do it.
Okay. Question 2? Councilmember Villavicencio, would you do that?
Sure.
Number 3?
I'll do it.
Thank you.
Oh, gee, I wonder who wants 4.
Yes. Councilmember Juniman, would you be so kind as to do number 4?
Yes.
Okay, and I'll do the last one. And how about if we do those same numbers for the Parks and Rec Commission? So we are all set. I understand based on our schedule tonight, we have our first candidate, Tom Osman, for the Community Design Review Board, and he is going to be joining us through a telephone call. City Manager Coleman, I'm going to ask you if you would make that call, please.
I certainly will, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oopsie. Did I unplug it?
No, that's good.
No, it's not. The light went out.
Oh,
Come on.
it did.
It did. It fell apart.
Little technical difficulty here. Thank you.
Some of it takes a minute to reboot.
Okay. Mr.
I
Osman,
tried
if you're
to
watching,
pull-
we'll be with you.
See, I did it again. It's just too.
It's tight.
It's tight. It's too tight. So I need to just, I'm going to have to get closer to you. I'm sorry
Okay.
to say.
That's fine.
It is on. Okay, as soon as it comes back on, I will dial the number.
Yeah, there's the right guy.
Now it's red. Okay, it'll turn green now.
Okay.
There we go. It's rebooting.
It's amazing what we can do with technology when it's plugged in.
Yeah, it has to be plugged in. Red light is still on. Yeah, Joe or Michael can fill that role of escorting people in. We normally keep them in the lobby till it's their turn to interview. Yeah, the main thing is we don't want them all coming in to sit down. They need to.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
No, I want to make sure, yeah.
Do you want me to say hi or are you going to just?
Hello.
Hi, Mr. Osman. This is Mary Lee Abrams, the mayor of Maplewood.
Hello.
And you have joined our city council meeting. We have 5 questions for you. Thank you for volunteering your services and being interested in serving on the Community Design Review Board. We have 5 questions, and we're going to go through the council. Each one has been assigned a question, and we're going to start with Councilmember Knudsen.
Good evening, Mr. Osman.
Good evening.
So my first question is, what do you feel you can bring to the Community Design Review Board relative to training, skills, experience, and so forth?
Well, thank you for the question, and thank you to the entire council for giving me the time to chat with you tonight. I've worked for Target for 26 years, Target Corporation, and for the last 13 years, I worked in construction product management. And it's been taking conceptions and designs and actually running it through the final execution to making the building occupiable. And it's working as a leader with collaboration of stakeholders, and stakeholders are between the business owner, it's between the community commissions, the neighborhood boards, it could potentially be with landlords, historical review boards. I have worked with many different sizes of buildings, whether it's large, big box. Sometimes we worked in offices, smaller footprints. We've been able to expand, luckily, the last few years, and have been seeking out other spaces for other cities. And it's something I have a lot of experience working in, and I work a lot with general contractors, real estate. And in fact, I'm out in California today working with the Planning Commission right now for a building we're working on. So it's I have a slight technical experience in architecture and construction as far as actual design of construction, and an overall experience in the actual projects from conception to execution.
Thank you.
Next, we'll have Councilmember Villavicencio.
Good evening, Tom. What is your experience in architectural design review and analyzing design for compatibility with surrounding buildings, cost to the building owner, functionality, and maintenance?
Thank you. I will, of course, be hitting a lot of Target experience tonight because that's what I've been doing for over a decade now. And as the company I work for has changed, we used to do just big box buildings into large plots of land. But as the consumer has changed and as cities have changed, we've evolved. We understand that you have to, create spaces where people are going to be. And to that amount, we have had to adapt and change the way we design buildings for small spaces or downtown spaces for what might have been, traditionally maybe a Walgreens type of space, but we're putting Target stores in there, and that has to change, be adaptable to changing your design, changing perhaps the facade, changing the exteriors, and then of course being able to function within other buildings and being able to function within the neighborhoods they're going to go into. And one thing that I have found I've been able to lead is being able to take back to the business owner, which who I work for, is to be able to adapt what adapt their expectations. That Target is part of the neighborhood. Target is part of the community. It's not always a dominant, big name. Because we have to be part of the community. And what are we, what options do we provide to our neighbors? Sharing parking spaces, sharing some of the utilities, and of course, making sure that what we're doing is aesthetically correct with the neighborhood, making sure that it's engineered correctly, and making sure it works for both all stakeholders.
Thank you. Next is Councilmember Cave.
Yes, good evening, Tom. My question is, do you have any experience in signage design and/or ordinance development regarding signage?
I do. I have much, and with retail, I work in creating many buildings that actually have very large signs. Some of them we don't have signing at all, and depending on the city you're in, neighborhood cities and the communities have varying opinions on that, and we've had to adapt not only to what we want to do, but what works best for the city and for the communities that we're working in. And that is whether it's reducing our signage, whether it's making a signage to the skyline or the sight lines of a city, making sure it's energy efficient, how we change the lighting, is it lighted all night, part of the night, what can be flashing. And some cities want that. Some cities want things to be attracting to the business and for a car to pull over and to go to that business. Others do not. And I've experienced working with architects and with lighting designers and engineers to make those signs specific to the areas they're going in. And again, working collaboratively with all stakeholders to make sure that works for everyone and knowing the timeline it takes to start to finish.
Thank you.
Next is Councilmember Juniman.
Good evening, Tom. My question
Good
has
evening.
to do with green building. Are you familiar with green building technologies and sustainable site design strategies such as energy efficiency, solar energy, stormwater management, and natural resources protection?
I do. I believe that actually we are actually underutilizing our abilities to use solar power, and other types of energy efficiencies. And buildings that get remodeled now, obviously, were built with codes that were much different than they are now, or even what we believe our building codes will be in the future. And right now in California, I'm pretty impressed when I see buildings that have Tesla chargers, car chargers. People are able to, as we see, the vehicles will probably be electric in the next few years. And I understand that it's actually a very expensive task. However, it does fit both the city and the business to require building codes and building requirements that are sustainable. And I think that generally, for the most part, it actually is beneficial to the business in the long run, even though sometimes in the short run, it may not seem that because it is a big investment. As far as with stormwater, you have to build your buildings correctly to make sure that when in Minnesota we have lots of snow and lots of heavy rainfall, that our water is going to the right spots and we're not flooding out other people. And I work a lot in even such minute details, making sure that the drains, the gutters, every aspect of buildings are built correctly and looked at to make sure that we are not only doing things correctly for ourselves, but also for our neighbors.
Thank you very much.
And the last question, in your opinion, what are some of the best and worst designed projects within Maplewood?
I have the ability and the advantage sometimes of living in Maplewood for 41 years, most of my life, and have seen a lot of these big developments happen. I was thinking about this today. A few of the projects I see developments that I think are fantastic is when St. John's Hospital was built in the 80s. It really was designed well to expand and as the healthcare industry has increased and our needs for healthcare has increased, it didn't seem as a tough build as it expanded because the space was allocated enough for expansion. And I also see where Rainbow Foods, which is now a Hy-Vee, when that was originally constructed, it was a great design place because not only was it a grocery store that was well needed and also a strip mall that also had, over the years, has had different types of needed structures, but also when Hy-Vee came in, I think that the best design they did was at the stoplight at the intersection there, because now people cannot go toward Maplewood Mall and away from it. I know for many years we had to go all the way around White Bear Avenue to get out of Hy-Vee. So I think that was a great design project then, and we found even a better design now. One of the more challenging designs, I think, only because it's tough to understand everything from conception, Maplewood Mall, I think, it's been a tough design only because the original concept of the mall obviously evolved in 40 years, and there's many different little projects around Maplewood Mall that sometimes make it cumbersome to get around to understand kind of what is the theme of the area, I personally have found that sometimes challenging. I think that the original mall idea was great, but as it's evolved, as we've evolved as consumers and also community, what that mall means, I think that's a great opportunity and great challenge for our city to see what kind of design and what kind of concepts can go there. What works best for traffic? Is there public transportation? We have a great transit where I used to go to work every day when I used to work in the office. I think there's a lot of opportunity left there that could be designed as more projects are being proposed, more development comes around our city to make that a better design spot in the city.
Thank you very much. That ends our questions. Thank you for joining us by phone. We really appreciate your participation. We will be scoring these and submitting these, I believe, by Friday. And then they will be counted. And Ms. Coleman, how are they going to know who is selected ultimately?
The plan is to present the people who have gotten the best scores to be appointed at the next meeting on October 11th. And so I think we will probably let people know when the packets go out the Wednesday before October 11th.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Osmond.
Thank you for accommodating my work schedule. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Nice talking to you.